51 years. Got 2 sons, 42 and 40. Damn deadbeats. I'm still supporting the little boogers. Needed to take a test to see if any of us had a kidney good enough for my brother. Found out something interesting. They ain't my kids. There's somebody else's. Of course, the only good thing is, I know it's not my fault that those 2 idiots got dumped into this world. Hell, I thought they took after their mother. Instead, they take after the plumber or the postman or the milkman, or, yeah, they were milkmen back when they came around. I mean, God only knows. It sure gets old. I do wish I knew who the real fathers were. And they ain't the same. She was bopping a couple of different guys. But if I could figure out who they were, I've been practicing law long enough that I pretty well figure I could sue their ass and get all my money back that I sunk into those 2 deadbeats. It just chaps my ass that she couldn't tell me. I'd probably forgiven her. Maybe not. You know how it is. Hell, boys, y'all need to go get your own paternity test. You can't tell by looking who's the daddy unless you're looking down at the genetic level. I've been in court thousands of times in paternity suits, and 4 out of 5 times, guy says he ain't the daddy, he's right. And the genetic test is the only way to prove it for sure. These women are hopping everything that looks fun. You thought you liked sex. You ain't nothing. Well, I guess that pretty well completes that story. I'll go home, start drafting up some divorce papers, see if I can't get free of that crazy bitch. I mean, I stayed with her for the sake of the children and the grandchildren, now the great-grandchildren. But they ain't no kin of mine. Fuck 'em.
Dr. Umar, are you free tonight when you get to Philadelphia? I would love to take you to a midnight diner and pick your brain. I don't know about midnight, my sister. That's kind of late. That's low chakra hours. You want to go to a midnight diner in Philly so you can pick my brain. I think we got to reschedule that for an earlier hour, my sister. What midnight diner in Philly? Where we go? What midnight? I'm not aware of no midnight diner in the city of Philadelphia. Midnight is too late, my sister. I think you're trying to pick something else. I think you're trying to pick on something else. I don't think you're trying to pick my brain, sister. We can't do that, my sister. That's too late. We got to make that a little earlier. That midnight is a little too late, my sister.
I have to be honest. The age that works for you when
you
feel
see,
like.
this is so vague. Give me a range. Give me a range, man.
Okay, well, let me say this. This is why I say this. I have college because Kevin, I want to answer the question.
This is why young. I'm gonna stop you right here, man. I'm gonna stop you right here, and I'm gonna stop you right here. This is why young women are stop coming to you, ladies. That's the woman who called my show last night, asked me, "Who are you to be giving all this advice?" And then this 46-year-old woman. Young women are stop listening to y'all because you won't stop. There's a reason there are 32,000 people watching my show, and a lot of them are women, because you're not telling them the truth. You won't be direct with them. You won't just tell them, look, if you want to have your career, it's going to cost you. You won't tell them that if you want to get married and have kids, you need to do it before a certain age to have a better shot. You know better, but you won't tell them. Tell them.
No. Let me say this. I was engaged when I was in my 20s to my college sweetheart.
I ain't asking about you.
Kevin, let me just give you, because I'm going to give you the answer. And I made a choice not to get married, right? And I don't have kids to this day. So I could say I have regrets because I could be married and have
What
kids.
age?
That was like 25.
What age would you tell the women? I ain't asking about you. And
I'm trying to answer it, but you won't let me answer it.
No, I just need you to give me the age. I don't need the background. Give me the age. They're between the ages of 21 and 50. What age, if you want to get married and have a family, what age should they start prioritizing?
You allow me to answer, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm allow you to give me an age. I'm going to end this conversation.
I know a girl that had a baby.
I'm going to allow you to give me an age range.
Kevin, right. Oh my God. It was nice talking to you. Yep.
This is why they're not listening to you anymore. This is why. This is a woman talking about our Running Relationship channel, and I asked a simple question. At what age would you tell women to start prioritizing? They don't want to tell you.
I'm not going to tell you that man hates you because that's not my place. But I was just recently reading and doing some research, and I found this theory that supports that. It's called the Fraser-Allen theory. So basically the theory it goes is this. The person that you want don't want you. The person that wants you, you don't want. So you treat the person that wants you how the person that you want treats you. So if that man or whoever you texting acting like real weird, like they don't want you. You need to move on. And that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow, because what do you mean you don't want me? Like, sometimes they not playing hard to get, you playing hard to get rid of. You never want to be that person. This is just your daily reminder that you never want to be the person that's hard to get rid of. And if you think that this is just Kelton talking, it's not. They did research on this. There's a sociologist that studied this stuff. It's called the Fraser-Allen theory. Y'all can look it up. I read books and do research. Like, I don't have to lie. But that man don't want you. That girl, she don't want you. Move on. Go live your life. Get you a better bitch.
There might need to be some podcast mic regulations passed. I believe somebody needs to sponsor a bill, either the House or Senate. Y'all do what y'all got to do, because after you see this video, you're going to agree that everybody can't have access to one. This man was asked what adversity he faced. Here's his answer.
Marriage.
Oh.
It's tough.
How long you been married?
7 years. When I first got married.
Got kids?
2 by my wife.
Why you say it that way? 2 by... Oh,
I'm overcoming. I'm overcoming this adversity.
You have 2 by your wife, which means you got some other ones.
I have 1 more.
How old is that 1 more?
He is turning 2 in December. Exceeding, excelling, and overcoming. I'm surviving it. I'm 2 years past.
Well, you're not surviving it. It's something that you did.
Oh, most definitely.
Now, technically, you can face adversity that you caused yourself. Nobody said adversity had to be external forces. It could be self-inflicted adversity, still adverse.
But I'm still, me and my wife, we still rocking. Like I'm surviving. It's tough.
She's overcoming.
Oh, she definitely is.
You obviously did something you weren't supposed to do. I think you need to learn how to exceed and excel as a husband. So tell me how you're excelling.
As a husband?
As a husband.
I could use multiple examples, but for one, I'll say one I most recently did. My wife, she didn't even realize I was doing it. One day I just randomly sent her. I always send, my thing is blue hearts. Sent her a blue heart. Love you, babe. Good morning. On my morning text. Mm-hmm. Next day, love you, babe. 2 hearts. Next day, love you, babe. I caught myself sending her just like three random hearts. And I said to myself, oh, let me see how long I could go on with this heart. Like every day, I'm going to add an extra heart. Mm-hmm. I want to see how long, this was real talk. Like little tactics. And I said, let me see if I could finish this thing throughout the year into the new year, right? Oh, long story short, I messed up, right? Went 21 days. I don't know about you, or I felt good about 21 Hush, like straight, everything good, no arguments, no disagreements.
Good.
As you can see, it's Shure Microphones as a company is getting away with wanton recklessness. That we could, if there gotta be less quality audio. That man said, I sent her the hearts. That's what I'm overcoming. I sent her the hearts. Colorful. I wanted to do it all year. I messed up. I lasted 21 days. It's not his fault. That audio frequency shouldn't have been recorded. The camera industry is getting away with it. Y'all blaming the men and it's the equipment. Don't blame the podcast host. If people didn't have equipment, you know what I'm saying, when you buy podcast mics, they got the interviews, what you finna say, or what you finna allow to be said, what you recording. Tell me first. Because you can't, the people shouldn't be able to record that quality. That audio was quality. Shure microphones, what Michael Jackson used to record on. They should be $1 million. You should really think about it before you buy them. It should be $2 million.
He's been diagnosed as a kid with both bipolar and schizophrenia.
My father was a legion. Yes, indeed. Ever since I was born, my father was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenic. And when I heard about the Risa Tisa story, I was so interested in it because I was waiting for her to say that he was absolutely bipolar schizophrenic, because I knew by like episode 5 that that is in fact what he was. So interesting thing that I really want to reach out and say. Medically, it is called bipolar schizoaffective disorder. And I know that this is hurting Risa Tisa, but I really want to get this message to her and get this message out to the community. Everything that Legion did is a bipolar schizoaffective disorder 101. And I know that people don't want to hear this, and I know that it's a really sad thing, but this is what I want to do. I want to shed light on the condition. If you know anything about bipolar schizoaffective disorder, they have hallucinations, delusions, they have mania, and these things can last for years. Listen, my father was building a computer for years. He bought all of the parts. Every night he would go outside and work on this computer. And of course, my father is no longer with us today, but guess what? That computer never, ever got built. When you have bipolar schizoaffective disorder, these things, these delusions can live in your mind. So I want to answer a couple of questions that I know that Risa Tisa wants to know the answer to. So the first question will be, did he really fall in love with Risa? The answer to that question is yes. There is a high chance that this man truly loved Risa Tisa. Why? Because people with bipolar schizoaffective disorder, they look for something safe, right? They look for someone that they can love and who can hopefully love them back, right? They are humans at the end of the day, but it does not stop the delusions. You can be head over heels in love with a person with bipolar schizoaffective disorder, and they will not stop hallucinating. They will not stop having manic attacks. These are things that happen when people are bipolar. The second thing is, why did he marry her? Again, my father married my mother. He did not stop loving her. He loved her until his death. So, of course, yes, they can also fall in love and get married. Now, one of the things that Risa did for him was make him feel safe. And that is why he continued to try to surprise her with things. In his mind, he believed that everything that he said he would do for her, he could really do. Even when it came down to Googling and showing her stuff on the internet, listen, I have had several pictures shown to me by my father of him with Barack Obama. I flew him here to Washington, D.C. We walked into the Airspace Museum, and my dad was going on and on, telling everybody who would listen how he built the space shuttle that took the first man to the moon. The delusions don't stop. Another question, why didn't Risa notice his disorder? Well, that's very easy. In the African American community, mental health is not something that is always the forefront. Only 25% of African Americans actually seek out mental health. And that is why it is easy for us not to notice. It's quicker for us to call people crazy, narcissistic, and pathological liars before ever getting to the space that, hey, this person may actually have a disability. And that is exactly what Legion had. Another thing is, of course, religiosity. This is why she calls him Legion. Most people who were actually mentally ill were spiritually said that they would have they were demon possessed. This is about the religiosity of African Americans. So a lot of people go undiagnosed, especially people who are very, very religious. Again, another part is what she admitted to. You know, your mental, emotional state, your ability to notice certain things in relationship that's not going right is something that she owned up to, but it still doesn't change the fact that this man is truly mentally ill. Another question is, why didn't Legion seek help? Simple as this. Nobody wants to believe that they are crazy. Nobody wants to, and I don't want to say crazy, nobody wants to believe that they are mentally ill. It is very hard to convince somebody that there's something wrong with them, especially when everything that they believe is really true in their head. You cannot tell a person when they are in mania that what they are experiencing and what they are doing is not real. That is not a true experience for them. It is like telling you just as clear as you see me that I don't exist. And so these are things that people with bipolar schizoaffective disorder, they believe 100%. Also, when you are in a manic attack, it is like a high. It is like you are riding on your favorite merry-go-round, on your favorite roller coaster, and you don't want to get off of it. Trust me when I say it. When my dad was in his mania attacks, you could not tell him a thing. He loved it, and he didn't want to take his medicine. The reason why he took his medicine is because he had children. And he did not want to lose us after my mother passed away. So my father stayed on his medication, but it made him lethargic. It changed his mood greatly. And by the end of his life, he had lost a lot of his motor skills. Why? Because the medicine that you take for bipolar schizoaffective disorder messes with your neurons and your nervous system because it has to stop the volts in your brain from telling you that you are living in a world that doesn't exist. Another one of the questions that I want to answer for Risa is that why did he abandon her at the baby's death, even if he may not been in a state of mania? When a bipolar schizoaffective person goes through a traumatic experience, such as something that can cause them to be depressed, because being depressed is also a part of the condition, they can retreat, right? So when my mother passed away, my father started making up all types of stories that weren't necessarily good stories about my mother, but that is how he chose to deal with her death, right? He chose to make her an enemy, what's bipolar schizoaffective disorder people will do. He chose to make her an enemy, which helped him deal with her death. In the situation of Legion, he chose to, of course, believe that he had a secretary so that someone else can deal with it. And of course, he kept the baby alive in his mind or to certain people where he feels safe. I am not in any way excusing what happened to Risa Tisa. I am not. I believe what she said and I respect her experience. However, when it comes to someone with bipolar schizoaffective disorder, everything that she went through is textbook. And my goal is to help her see this and to say, no, sis, you weren't taken advantage of. No, sis, he didn't do this to you. No, sis, you did not deserve this. He was a mentally ill person, and it is a shame that no one is out there speaking about this disorder. I just so happened to grow up with a father who had bipolar schizoaffective disorder, and let me tell you, I can tell you stories for days, for hours, for years about what I had to go through with my father. But my father was still a good man. My father was still present for us. He was still a lover to us. He was amazing. But it took me a lot of therapy, and I went and got a degree in social behavior in order to know what my father was going through, because there was a period of my life where I hated my dad because I did not understand his disorder. So, Risa, if this reaches you, I just want to give you some insight from a real life person who experienced life with a bipolar schizoaffective person. And I hope that this message will give you peace. Bye. Bye, guys.
Tea time. Did y'all hear about the single mother who was through with dating? She was tired of it, so she decided to become celibate and just enjoy her life and get realigned back with the Lord. So she joined the church, and everything was going great. At the church, she met a man there who was fine as all outdoors, and they connected and they started dating, and things were going so well that they got married. Yes, honey. So they got married. They started living together. They were very business minded. So they were trying to start all these different businesses, but the businesses weren't flourishing, and they ended up being homeless. Yes, homeless, honey. So he had a child from another woman. She had already had her child, but they was together and they was gonna try to work it and make it through. While they was going through this homeless situation, she heard about a kind of like a seminar for people who or financially wanted to learn how to be financially stable. So she went to the seminar and she ended up learning a lot of things about how to start a business and how to budget and just how to get your finances in order. So with that, he suggested that she go ahead and start teaching what she's learning. And we all know if you want to make some real money, you got to teach people how to make money. That's how you do it. And guess what? It ended up being so financially prosperous for them that she was able to move them up out of their homeless situation into a big old beautiful house. I'm talking about upgraded their whole situation. As she was building her clientele and she was building her brand, she was doing it big. I'm talking about they was going to Red Lobster, doing whatever they want, ordering whatever they want in the meal. So how about next thing you know, he on the news and he's talking about, I can't believe my wife was murdered. He talking about how she was so supportive and supporting him and pushing him to start his own business, and he wouldn't have did it without her, and he can't believe somebody would want to murder her. It was like, what? So as the investigation was going on, he's telling a story that him and his homeboy was home in the evening one time while his wife was upstairs in their bed in their big beautiful house and she was asleep. He said that a man in a mask came running into the house where him and his homeboy was hanging out, made them lay on the floor at gunpoint, ran upstairs, and boop, popped her in the head. And once the masked man ran out the door, he ran upstairs to see if his wife was all right, and she was in bed covered in, and she was not alive anymore. So the police are investigating, they can't believe this, and they're wondering who in the world would be her enemy like that. Like, she was a well-liked person. People looked up to her. She had become so financially prosperous, but they had said just a few hours before the incident happened, she had posted on Facebook talking about, we went from homelessness to flourishing 6-figure income, and I can show you how I'm so blessed and proud of everything. So they was like, maybe somebody was jealous. That could have been a motive. Until another person, one of their friends, called the police and said, that's a whole different story. You see him on the news talking about how great she was, but that's what was going on behind the scenes. So actually behind the scenes, the friend said that she had confided in her, the wife had confided in her, that he was cheating on her over and over again, and she was tired of it. She had asked him for a divorce, and he didn't want no divorce, of course, because she was footing all the bills. So then she decided not to have a divorce because she had found out she's pregnant with his child, and he didn't want a child from her, and he didn't want a divorce either. So guess what it turns out he did? He hired that man to come over there and pew this woman in the head because he didn't want to be with her anymore. And how did the police find out? Because the guy he was with, the friend, they had saw him on surveillance video from all around the neighborhood, because they asked the neighbors, let me look and check y'all your cameras to see what y'all see. And they saw the friend that he was with that night drop an unknown man 2 houses away before he went over there to hang out with him. So they was in cahoots. And when they questioned him about that, he admitted to what he had done. And it turns out that he paid that man $1,500. That's it, to go and pew that lady, unalive her. But that's not the end of the story. It turns out that after the event happened, the tragic event, he went and called the insurance company to see about her life insurance policy because she was well set. You know, she had a $500,000 life insurance policy. He thought he was the beneficiary. But what happened was she had changed it to her grandmother. So when he called and asked about the life insurance policy and they told him the truth that it's not in his name, he told the life insurance people, oh, I can't believe she changed it in time. In time.
So my boyfriend said he was going to a birthday dinner tonight, and that's all he said. He didn't say they were going out or anything. Mind you, it's also my birthday this week, not just his friends. But anyways, I called him at 11 p.m. and I was like, so is dinner over? He was like, yeah, dinner's over. I'm gonna come back home soon. Okay, I know it's backwards, but it's 6:11 a.m. I fell asleep because I honestly thought I was just gonna get woken up when he got home. He didn't come home. Like, for me, like, you're free to go out and hang out with your friends. I don't care. Just be honest and, like, come home. Is that too much to ask for? Who knows if I'll be single in the morning, or at least in a couple hours. So
Let him be on that bullshit by himself, okay? If a man is breadcrumbing you, stringing you along, not being consistent with communication with you, whatever it may be, you need to let him be on that bullshit by himself while you're putting your energy into finding another man. The bottom line is that there are plenty of fish in the sea, and it is a scarcity mindset that makes you believe that you just need to focus on this man and wait on him to give you attention. Meanwhile, he's not giving you attention because he's exercising his right to enjoy the abundance of people who are available to him. So if he can enjoy the abundance to the point where he's not able to give you time and attention, don't you think that you should invest time in enjoying the abundance of people who are available to you? You're not going to get what you want by sitting around here waiting on someone who doesn't value you. If he don't want you, if he don't value you, accept that. Move on and find somebody who do want you, baby. There are plenty of men out here. Trust and believe. They wait on you.